Hello, welcome to Industry Reactions. Industry Reactions is a weekly briefing on industry events, changes, and future trends that impact your business. We're your hosts, Rick Honer and Mark Frito from ChemPoint. You can find Industry Reactions on YouTube, LinkedIn, and as a podcast. For those watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and smash that like button. We plan on discussing issues that impact the global industry and help you uncover new opportunities. We hope this will provide market intelligence that will keep you ahead of changing conditions.
And for the fourth or fifth week in a row, the top story is in regards to the Gulf Coast petrochemical situation. Petrochemical prices are surging as multiple injections of weather-related chaos on the U.S. Gulf Coast compounded the effect of market disruptions related to the COVID-19 pandemic. 3 weeks after Winter Storm Uri brought snow, freezing rain, and record cold to Texas and Louisiana, much of the region's production capacity is still ramping up or offline. The resulting shortages have buoyed petrochemical prices, some to record highs. Analysts expect commodity chemical makers to benefit despite supply chain difficulties. Earnings estimates have raised on Dow, LyondellBasell, Covestro, Huntsman, and Eastman, among other producers, to reflect fly-ups in margins that we expect to linger into the second quarter. Earnings at commodity chemical producers are expected to benefit from these unplanned outages in the Gulf Coast right ahead of the spring turnaround season. Low inventory levels, resurgent demand, which will likely accelerate sharply this summer due to stimulus effects and steeper cost curves.
Yeah, this is crazy. Forget the pun, but it is the perfect storm. You already had a demand, starting to break things at the seams, and now you've got this shortage. It's quite a mess.
It'd be interesting to see the earnings of these companies. People do think that this is a good thing for some of these companies, but with the amount of disruptions that we've seen, it's hard to believe that this is really going to be a benefit to some of these companies. Even though in some cases we've heard stories of 3 or 4 price increases in the span of just a few short weeks. We'll see.
All right. So the global logistics crisis is expected to last at least until the third quarter of 2021 and is making availability of product more important than price. Global chemical supply chains are under intense pressure thanks to the U.S. Gulf polar storm, which knocked out a significant portion of the production capacity there, and ongoing problems with shortages of shipping containers plus road transport delays. The supply crunch has led to record-breaking prices and panic buying by some consumer industries, which are desperate to maintain security of supply. Apart from the U.S. storm damage, planned and unplanned outages elsewhere are adding to the problems.
The perfect storm once again. Well, I guess in some slightly positive news, some capacity is starting to open back up again, and North American chemical rail continues post-freeze ramp up. During the week ending March 6th, chemical rail car traffic was down 9.6% year over year, but up almost 4% from the previous week. The figures reflect continued recovery from the sharp declines recorded during the week ending February 20th, when winter weather brought chemical production nearly to a standstill.
And we have a slew of these similar related stories. America's chemical tanker freight rates are under pressure as exports decline. Chemical tanker shipping freight rates from the Americas region could see some added pressure as material availability for exports decreased following the severe winter storm. As we said before, chemical plants across the board are in varying stage of restarts, and many plants in the region will remain offline with several products on force majeure. This has left a gap in material leaving the U.S., which is not very typical.
Yeah, for sure. And we're seeing tightness on material coming in. So who knows how this will play out. Well, as you can imagine, this is leading to higher pricing and really inflation from a consumer perspective. Consumers could expect to see prices on goods from mattresses to storage containers increase as finance chiefs try to offset higher costs for raw materials. Companies across a range of industries are grappling with higher prices for commodities such as lumber and steel, which are rising in response to greater demand from consumers who are spending more money for appliances, cars, or to remodel their homes. Freight and shipping costs have also increased due to surging online orders and shortages in shipping containers. I think a lot of people say they won't see the full price impact at the gas pump for a few more months.
Yeah, it could still take a while to hit, but you can see prices going up everywhere. You walk into Home Depot, you can see it. All right, so into new product introductions and company announcements. So Solvay, who we talked about, I think last week, is in the news again. They built a new electronic-grade production facility for high-purity hydrogen peroxide at its Bernburg site in Germany. Developments in society and technology in recent years have reinforced our belief that demand for our product can only grow, reports Mike Daedrick. That's the business manager of EMEA. What is now obvious to everyone, especially after the recent impact of COVID on our lives, is that our world is heading towards extensive digitalization in all areas. That's homeschooling, home office, Internet of Things, 5G, cloud computing, smart home, Industry 4.0, electromobility, etc. The European semiconductor industry plays a crucial role in these developments. High-purity hydrogen peroxide is a key chemical in the manufacture of semiconductor chips. So some moves toward electronic space within Solvay as they shed some of their maybe legacy, older, unprofitable businesses.
Yeah, and they're trying to capitalize on all these mega trends as you listed off. We'll see if the bet pays off. Hexion intends to expand its Portland, Oregon manufacturing site to support its recently launched armor-built fire-resistant wrap, a new product which greatly improves fire protection when applied to a substrate, such as wood utility poles. The first automated production line will come online at the end of the first quarter of 2021, and the second automated line is expected to start up before the end of the year. Armor-built wrap is a proprietary wrap from Hexion that can be applied to either new or existing wood utility poles.
I'm guessing California would be the first market to take those on.
For sure.
All right, now as we get into mergers and acquisitions news. After signaling earlier this year that it was done shedding business lines, DuPont is turning to growth with the planned acquisition of Laird Performance Materials for a $2.3 billion deal. The deal is one of several recent investments by chemical makers seeking to tap into the growth in electronics industry. Laird makes chemicals and materials that manage heat and provide electromagnetic shielding for electronic devices. It employs 4,300 people at 11 sites around the world and reported 2020 sales of $465 million. It will become part of DuPont's Electronics and Industrial Division, one of 3 divisions at the slimmed-down firm. So you see another firm, DuPont, expanding on their electronics division, similar to Solvay that we just talked about.
Yeah, for sure. DuPont's transformation has been ongoing for probably a bit longer than Solvay, but yep, very similar moves. Meridian Adhesives Group has acquired Gentech and FT Polymer, 2 European-based adhesive suppliers for the electronics, medical, aerospace, and automotive industries. The company's range of products include adhesives, encapsulants, coatings, UV curing technology, and dispensing equipment. The companies will join Meridian's electronics division and work with Epoxy Technology Europe. Can't say I know too much about Meridian, Rick. Do you run across them often?
No, I haven't. I haven't worked with them and don't come across them very much.
It's an interesting acquisition. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Industry Reactions. We'll return next week with a fresh batch. Until then, stay safe.
Take care.